Here we are at the world's fastest half mile. We're heading to the Bristol Speedway for the Sharpie 500, the 5th race left before we get to the chase. On the pole is the 55 of Derek Hamlin wanting something to go right for him this season. 2's outside of the driver who wants that, the 5 of Jeff Bright. Then 30 of Riley Sampson, Nathan Stapleton in 4th, and Steve Morgan rounds out the top 5. Then 60 of Jay Jefferson, Trey Rainey in 7th, and Mac Johnson was on his lid here earlier in the season. He starts this race in 8th, James Sableo 9th, and Jake Galloway rounds out the top 10. The rest of the field is Luke Ray in the 2. He's been so great here at Bristol in the past with Taylor Ryan Price 2's outside. They have Alexander Rowe and Eli Bright in the 88. Then there's Griffin Lynn in 2nd in points, Max Anderson. They have Code Luigi and Jake West, Danny Lloyd and Larry Bouchard Jr. Then there's Jonathan Beeford and Colton Yo, Benny Watson and John Gambit. They have Isaac Nichols and Diego Yepes. Then there's Jonathan Rains and last race winner Andrew Miller trying to ride that high wave of momentum. They have Stephen Taylor and Carson Bowers, and Dale Lightning and Jack Marshall. And there's Joe Jefferson, Stephen Baker, Steve Larker, and Carter Friesen. They have TJ Henley, who is your points there only by 6 points. He starts at the back of the field. His teammate third point starts at the inside, Luigi Octavo. They have Tyler Fink and Sebastian Kukelheim won here earlier in the season, trying to get back to victory lane, or at least get a good finish to get himself inside the top 20. And then the final row, Justin Zidell with Patrick Smith, who is outside. There's your starting lap for the Bristol Night Race. Let's go down tracks and get the command.
For today's command, Bobby Allison.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Give your seatbelts a little tug there for me there, buddy. Get a little drink of Gatorade. Be safe. Have some fun, all right?
And there rolls off our 42-car field for the Bristol Night Race, the Sharpie 500. A few races left before the chase. This could definitely change chase chances. 75 laps at Bristol. Let's get going with the green flag. We're racing in the Sharpie 500. Derek Hamlin got a great jump on the field to lead lap 1. Riley Sampson 2nd, Steve Morgan 3rd, Trey Ray up to 4th, Jeff Bright from 2nd back to 5th, and possibly even further back as here comes James Sableo trying to fill the hole down low in the 10 car. He does do just that. The front few single file and gets spread out a little bit. Here comes Sableo to the inside, Jeff Bright, who move up inside the top 5 to 5th. Luke Ray going to be going for 6 now. Back there, further back, some cars getting tight. Luke Ray will grab 6 as they go through 3 and 4. Number 2 car, he's just on the edge of making the chase. He needs a great result here at Bristol and then the next few races. He's going to try and start out here at Bristol with a top 10 finish. He's up to 6th. There goes Alexander Rowe for 7th on Jeff Bright. And your 2nd in points, Max Harrison, could be going for 8th here, but Jeff Bright has a hole down low. Could not get down there, but he does have a little bit of a lane there. Jeff Bright finally found his way down in line, but it's back in the 8th position from the 2nd starting position. Max Harrison 9th, Code Luigi up to 10th on the 42 car. They have some battling back behind Danny Lloyd, Nathan Stapleton just outside the top 10 now, battling for 11th, 12th, and so on. As we look back up to the race lead, still Derek Hamlin, Riley Sampson 1-2, Steve Morgan, Trey Rainey running 3rd and 4th pretty close together. In this race last season, we saw many lead changes. We saw the Pulsar Code Luigi lead up until a crash happened in front of him, where he went high to avoid it, and then other cars, second, like Michael Gregory, I believe, was the car in 2nd place, Trey Rainey in 3rd. They went low, and they actually passed Code Luigi, come back to the caution flag, which put Code Luigi back to 3rd. Then pit stops, Luigi fell to about 7th. As yellow is out, there's the caution, number 1. Derek Hamlin leads us back, and it's 4, Bowers, Rains, and Galloway. And Jake West may have also been involved in Tyler Fink is slow, coming back to the caution flag. Yellow number 1 is out. And it's for about 4 or 5 cars involved. Jonathan Rains, one of them go around. We'll see how it happened. This wreck took a long time to get evolved. As you see here, come off turn number 4, Jake Galloway in the 11 is 3 wide in the middle, and he's trying to cut off Stephen Taylor, trying to get around off the corner. He just cuts it too low, gets into that 31, sends him down to the inside wall hard, so Galloway slams it left side, and then I think he's going to try and come up here. They see Taylor and Dale Lightning in contact. They save it. Up in the 96 right there, Stephen Baker. 15, Taylor Brian Price comes into it. Griffin Lynn does a great job getting low. The 21, Tyler Fink gets into it, and then Jake West stops here, and he's going to get hit by Bowers, and then that's where Jonathan Rains got his damage in the 4. So yellow there, caution number 1 early on for a wreck happening down the front stretch, then it went into turn 1 and 2. And I think Galloway's just trying to get a little low and got a little too low, maybe not knowing that the 3rd one was down there. That's a hard spot for the spotters to see. And possibly the spotter did not call 3 wide middle and just said, outside, maybe not knowing that that car was down low. That's a tough break for all the drivers involved, including Galloway and some of the others. Back in front, Derek Hamlin led us back to the caution flag. and they'll stay out on the racetrack. Hamill out front for this restart in the Sharpie 500. Coming back in lap number 13, some cars decided to come down the pit lane. Tyler Fink out from that crash. As you see, the 11, 32, and 6 are lapped down. As we look through the field, we'll tell you which cars came down pit road and whatnot. As the pace car is in, Derek Hamill out front for this restart. Riley Sampson second. Now your new third place man is Alexander Rowe with Cole Weech up to fourth and Nathan Stapleton fifth. So we're back racing. As already for the race lead, Sampson looking low on Hamill. Oh, he's going to turn him! They save it! Hamill gets back up in line, but that was close for that 55. Sampson not playing nice. He wants this race lead fast here in the Sharpie 500. So the cars that came down pit road, you're going to be about 10 to 15 laps short on fuel. So the cars that came down, they're hoping that they have enough fuel to get it to the end. They're trying to milk it through to the end. One of them that came down may have been the 2 Luke Rainey. There's the 95 with Trey Rainey's back in this mess. He came down. The 47 also came down. There's the 51, some damage. I believe that's the 31 hitting pit road, Steven Taylor. They're 3 wide down the backstretch. So cars like the 95, some others that are at the front, they came down the pit lane to try and top off on fuel and see if they can have enough to get to the finish. John Gammon in pit row with an issue. The 77 car, he's coming off. 31 into the pits. Yeah, like some of the cars that pitted, like the 2, the 95, they didn't lose much ground. The 47, some cars actually gained a ton of ground, though, by not pitting. Like Sebastian Kuklon's up to 17th now. TJ Henley up to 24th. So some drivers that actually did come down, or didn't come down the pit lane, gained a ton from that. But others that did come down, they may have lost some time. See all the cars lap down. Jake Galloway 7 laps down the 11 car. Bowers is 2 down there. Steven Taylor come off the pit road, and the front 2 have to go high. This could cost Riley Sampson second position. It could cost Derek Hamill the race lead as Alexander moves to second, the 72. Can he get to Derek Hamill's? The 55 stuck up high. 31 trying to get a lap back there. They don't want to fall many laps down. Taylor still underneath Hamill. Back there, Cole Luigi gets caught up high. Nathan Stapleton moves to his inside. As Rowe is going to be side by side with Hamill, but gets tight. Up the track goes the 72. Hamill's into the wall. Checks up, and Rowe gets to the inside and will get by 3. Alexander Rowe now to the race lead here in the Sharpie 500. Riley Sampson for second. And Nathan Stapleton in the 27 car. He's coming through, and Cole Luigi continues to fall back as Dale Letney has come off pit road. He's now in front of the race leaders as Alexander Rowe goes high. Yeah, Lightning, I think he's a little slower though, and he's going to give up that position right there. He's going to fall another lap down. Now, there's a lap car in between the 72 and the 18. See all the cars stuck up high. Is that the 55? Derek Hamill still stuck up high. Jay Jefferson, Code Luigi. Can Luigi find the hole in front of Luke Rainey? Rainey shuts that door and gets beneath them and moves his way back up inside the top 10 to come down pit road. So Luke Rainey, that strategy obviously not hurting him. He's continuing to march his way through the field, trying to get back up to where he was. He was 6th before he came down pit road. Just remember that. And he has another car he could pass. Jay Jefferson has moved up high. Up front, Alexander Rowe leads Riley Sampson. And a few lap cars in front of him. A lot of lap cars coming off pit road and such. Jake Galloway's ahead with Steven Taylor. And Alexander Rowe's behind them, stuck with nowhere to go. And Riley Sampson's gaining. Nathan Stapleton, Matt Johnson. Remember we said he was on his lid in the Food State 500 earlier in the season. He's right now running inside the top 5. Larry Bouchard Jr. There's Derek Hamill. He's falling back to 6th. Jonathan Buford, Steve Morgan, Luke Rainey up to 9th. Bowers. Jeff Bright's up to 10th now in the 5 car. Jay Jefferson falling back. Trey Rainey on the inside. Some others that are falling back. The 75. There's the 42 still stuck up high and cannot find a hole down low. The next hole he has is behind the 10, but that would be outside the top 20. So Cole Luigi's still starting to fall back here in the Sharpie 500. And these two still nose to tails. The 72 still stuck behind those 2 lap cars. Sampson is gaining in the 18. See if he can make a pass here down the front stretch. He has a pretty good run. He's looking low. He's not close enough to make the move. It would have taken a bonsai there, and I don't think he would risk that this early in the race, although he did almost spin out the race leader, Derek Hamill, to try and make a pass. Sampson's still right there on Alexander Rowe. And we still got a lot of time to go. We're not even halfway through the race, and we got 3, 4 cars that are gaining. Mac Johnson coming up to this front 3. Larry Bouchard Jr. could be up here. They're just getting really slowed by Taylor, Galloway, and Rain to our ahead. And it's really hurting Rowe because he's your racer. He's not getting clean air on the car. He's not as fast as he would be out without any cars in front of him. And Sampson's right there just trying to wait for that 72 to make some sort of small mistake to get by, but Sampson made the mistake that time, 3-1-2, and fell back to the back bumper, or to the front bumper of Nathan Stapleton in the 27. 45 laps to go in the Sharpie 500. Sampson falling back in the 18. This 18 team has been very good at Bristol in the past, but not only Bristol, but just this night race at Bristol in general. Last season, they almost won it with Trey Rainey in the 18. He ended up falling and finishing inside the top 5. Then the previous season, they won it with Kevin Bandon for the race lead. Sampson looked low, got a little tight and had to lift, and Rowe keeps the race lead for now, but Sampson showing that he's there. He might have a pretty fast car here later in this run. 18 is moving now. He got a great run off that corner. Here comes Mac Johnson for third in the 24 car. He's already thanks to Stapleton, but can he hold it? He does. Johnson for third on Stapleton. It's through 3 and 4. There, Bouchard Jr. is going to go for fourth right here in the 17. Derek Kimmel going to try and break his way back up inside the top 5. Sampson trying a different line now that he has no one really pressuring him from behind. As of now, Reigns gets sent up high. The leaders will go on by to put him another lap down. So Johnson clears for third. Larry Bouchard Jr. fourth. Stapleton finds the hole in fifth, so Stapleton keeps the top 5 for now. But Derek Kimmel back to his inside in the 55. And Stapleton, great run off the top side though. Gonna try and keep fifth for all it's worth. But Hamill wants to get back up there, starting on pole, leading lap. Drop back on the restart. Hasn't recovered. He's looking for fifth still. That 55 looks pretty fast, but just stuck in dirty air right now. Luke Rain looks pretty fast as well, but as I say that, it goes high. But I believe that's the lap car Bowers behind him. Yeah, Bowers is 1 lap down. Ray can let him go on by so he doesn't fall back too much. He is 9th. He has a pretty good gap back to 10th. Jeff Bright, Trey Rainey, Daniel Lloyd, Sebastian Kuklon up inside the top 15, the 3 car. Derek Owens still trying for that 5th position, but Nathan Stapleton not letting him through. Is back there in the battle for 7th. Steve Morgan moves past Jonathan Beeford to gain a spot up forward inside the top 10. As Beeford falls back, Morgan moves forward. Another car on pit road. I think it might have been the 11 of Jake Galloway with some damage. Still up front, these two nose to tail. Rowe leading Sampson. They still have that lap car, Steven Taylor ahead, and Sampson really wants to get by Alexander. You could tell with he looks pretty impatient behind that 72, but he just cannot make the move. He's trying to find that perfect spot to make the move. Just can't find it as of now. And with them being held up third on back because of Jonathan Reigns is really helping Sampson out. Here we go again. But they both go up the racetrack. The 72 couldn't hold the bomb, but the 18 couldn't as well. And they stay nose to tail. The 18 right in the bumper of that 72. Down the back into turn 3 and 4. Rose still leads with 35 laps of racing to go. 72 still looking strong. The 18 still pretty strong. Back here, Larry Bouchard Jr. moves up the track, trying to keep fourth from Nathan Stapleton. And Derek Kimmel goes to the outside. He's going to lose a spot to Steve Morgan as the 13 car will move to 6th. The 55 could possibly lose 7th, maybe even 8th, as Jonathan Beeford comes through, trying to grab 7th. The 55 finds that hole down in line. Jeff Bright now gaining. He was 10th. He's coming up to try and get up there to 9th place, Luke Rainey. Alexander still trying to get by Steven Taylor. The 18 looks high, and Riley Sampson goes up the track, trying to get a good run off the corner, but gets tight, has to lift, and down the backstretch, 72 pulls away just a little bit. But the 18's going to get right back through the corner. And he does. Riley Sampson really trying to close in here. And Reigns is catching up. Max Johnson's still third. Reigns is still the lap car. The 4 car still a few laps down. He's 3 laps down. The 11's 12 laps down. Dale Lightning's 3 down. Bowers is 3 down. Reigns is 3 down. Gambit's 2 down. Taylor is only 1 down. And Benny Watson's 1 lap down. But we have not seen Watson at all. 34 cars currently in the lead lap. But they are catching Stephen Baker, who is the last car in the lead lap. E-lap right just in front of him. We're coming to see 30 laps to go here in the Sharpie 500. And if we do not have a caution, drivers are going to have to make green flag pit stops towards the end of this race with about 10-15 laps to go. That could change everything, because remember, some drivers came down pit road. Did they get that car full of fuel to get enough to go to the finish? Once again, the 18 trying the higher lane, but Rowe keeping it nice and tight on the bottom lane. Pulls away a little bit. Now Sampson closes right back in right there. Take a lap around Bristol as we go through the field basically with this wall camera. You see the field, the pack of cars. The race on around, you see how fast the lap is. There's the 5 Jeff Bright getting caught up high. So he's going to fall back many positions. You can see Coluigi how far back he fell. TJ Hanley, the last car in the lead lap currently. And there's the race leaders already. The 72 of Alexander Rowe. So TJ Hanley now currently the last car in the lead lap, and the 23 car is trying to get back around the nice 6. Hanley currently struggling in the 30s. That 23 car does not look right here tonight. Currently bound for 33rd, 32nd, somewhere around there. Jonathan Reigns finally moving out of the way of 3rd place, 4th place. Now he's going to try and get out of the way of 5th on back. Bowers has caught the battle, but remember, he's 3 laps down. Luke Rainey, the next car in the lead lap, he's actually in 8th right now, so he passed someone. We passed the 33. Jonathan Beeford is continuing to fall through the field. Beeford back to 9th. He's fallen into the clutches of Trey Rainey, the 95. Remember, the Rainey's on the same strategy as each other. They pitted under that caution. They're trying to get up here. Raines up high. 3 wide. Around the lap car. Derek Campbell in the middle. Luke Rainey down low. The 55 and the 4 rubbing up top. The 2 still rubbing with the 55 down the backstretch. Allow Jonathan Beeford and Trey Rainey to close in. Luke Rainey will gain a position from Derek Campbell off that. Move the 2 car up to 7th. Luke Rainey pulled with 3 wide pass there. And up front, gaggle of cars at the front. Rowe and Sampson have caught the lap cars. Joe Jefferson, the 41, will go lap down here. Your race leader, Alexander Rowe. Stephen Taylor still trying to keep it 1 lap down. Here comes Larry Bouchard Jr. and Mac Johnson for 3rd. Couldn't get enough for a run. We'll see if the 24 gets down low, if the 17 gets down there first. And it looks like Larry Bouchard Jr. going to move to 3rd right here. The 17 car with a run. He's going to use the 41 as a pick here. The 72 and the 18 get clear of the 41. Larry Bouchard Jr. moves to 3rd. Mac Johnson back to 4th, possibly even further back as he goes up the racetrack. Stapleton closing in. And now they move around Stephen Taylor. Alexander Rowe finally gets rid of that 31 with 20 laps to go. And Mac Johnson continuing to fade. Nathan Stapleton just moved to the inside, but the 24 has a hold down low if he can get it. And Mac Johnson still trying to get down low. Under 20 laps to go in the Sharpie 500. Stephen Baker ahead with damage. Eli right up top. They are side by side in front of your race leaders. 24 falling back. Stapleton moves to 4th. And the 18 right on the back bumper. The 72 is Rowe. Checked up right there. He's closing, but can he make the pass? Through 1 and 2 a little bit lower for the 18, a little bit higher for the 72. And they stay nose to tail down the backstretch. Stapleton still can't clear Johnson. I think he finally will do it through 3 and 4 to get to 4th. Luke Rainey going to go for 5th here in the 2 car. He's marching his way forward. Remember we said he was 6th before that pit strategy. Currently is in the 6th position. We'll lose it as Steve Morgan moves to the inside. Rainey might fall back to 7th right here in the 2 car. But back up front. Rowe has pulled away a little bit from Riley Sampson. 16 laps to go. And the lap cars in front have really kind of spread out. Stephen Baker is right now currently 33rd. On the tail end of the lead lap. Eli Bright's 32nd. TJ Hanley 31st. Taylor Brown Price 30th. There's Jake Galloway. There's Octavo, 3rd in points. There's your Pez, Code Luigi on pit road. So that could start the scheduled pit stops we talked about with around 15 laps to go. It could start happening right here at Code Luigi on pit road in the 42 car. I don't know if that's an issue or if that's scheduled. We are at 15 laps to go, so we'll see. The leaders start to come down. Here comes Rowe into pits. Sampson oh, he's coming in late. He's trying to gain time on that 72, and Larry Bouchard Jr. stays out to lead. With Nathan Stapleton, Steve Morgan, Luke Rainey. Remember, Rainey can stay out a little bit later now. So green flag pit cycles have started with under 15 laps to go. Larry Bouchard Jr. heads to the pits. Stapleton as well. Morgan slicing through lap cars and cars pitting. Morgan stays out. Luke Rainey, Sebastian Kukulon, Danny Lloyd. And now we'll see who has enough fuel to make it. Does anyone? When does Morgan decide to cut down? He stays out. Luke Rainey still staying out. They could be hoping for a yellow flag to trap these guys a lap down. And that could definitely come out with cars coming in where cars are racing. Yeah, that's how this pit road is. Cars are going to be coming out where cars are coming in. It's going to be a whole mess. Steve Morgan, Luke Rainey continuing to stay out. Sebastian Kukulon, Danny Lloyd still out in the racetrack. The 18 leaves, the 72 further ahead. 95, the 7, the 43, a ton of cars staying out the racetrack. Hoping for maybe a yellow flag to trap these drivers a lap down. Steve Morgan, Luke Rainier, 1-2. Here comes Larry Bouchard Jr. off pit road. He'll get in front of the 18. I think Bouchard's going to stay in front of that 18 there to get second of the cars that pitted. Luke Rainey really messed up that corner there. Allows Steve Morgan to pull away. For all we know, this could be a fight for the race win if it stays like it is. There is smoke in 3. No yellow. A car has obviously hit the wall. We don't know which car. No yellow flag. We are still racing for now. It's still Morgan. Here comes Luke Rainey. He'll head to the pits. He's had enough. Now Morgan out there. When does he decide to come down? They might have Rainey's team might stay a lap later because they were hoping for that yellow for that smoke. But obviously no yellow came out. Morgan still staying out. He has 7 laps, but can he make it? So right now, Steve Morgan, Sebastian Kukulon, Danny Lloyd. There's the 34 of Patrick Smith. 43, Vander Miller. There's the 7, the 95, the 5, the 47, the 10. All on the lead lap. Currently 19 cars shown on the lead lap. They have not pitted. They're hoping for a yellow flag or for their strategy to work out. Steve Morgan has 5 laps left here at Bristol. Here he comes. He'll surrender the race lead. Who will stay out? Danny Lloyd in the 19, hoping for that yellow flag to come out. Here's the 2 Luke Rain to his inside. Luke has definitely leapfrogged some cars there to the 24 and the 27. Danny Lloyd leads with 4 laps to go. He cuts across the 2. Around goes your leader. Now, who's the next car that is on this strategy? Can Danny Lloyd stay out? Is that Max Harrison? Here they come to pits. Max Harrison, stay on the racetrack. But he's taking, who's going to be your race leader? Can Max Harrison save enough fuel? The 19 cut across the 2's bumper. And now Max Harrison, second in points, going to try and win it. Remember, he stole one at Road America on fuel mileage. He has 3 laps left and he is your race leader. But does he have enough fuel? Will he have to surrender the race lead? And if he doesn't have enough, is there anyone else? James Stablio's on the same strategy and he's on the lead lap, it says. But where is he? And they're wrecking right here. Colton Yo and Stephen Baker have wrecked. There's the 10 of Stablio. He is on the lead lap. Does the 47 have enough? There's Hanley. He was on the strategy. He came down a lap too soon, it looks like. And now the whole running order has been turned upside down. Anderson doesn't have enough. Here he comes to pit road. Now, does Stablio's coming to pits. Who's third? It's Danny Lloyd. Where is the 19 car? Still looking for him. Still looking for someone that is up there in third. There's Lloyd. He has damage. Remember, he came down pit road. Now, where's the 47 and the 10? Here comes Anderson. But are those guys too far back? Coming to take the white flag is Max Anderson and James Stabolito. Now, can he merge back out, or will he have the stop sign at the end of pit road? It looks like they're going to give him the stop sign. At the white flag. Danny Lloyd right there. Where's the 47 and the 10? They have not yet been allowed to merge. I believe it should be the 19 of Danny Lloyd, because the 10 is also on pit road with the 47, right? Yes. There they are. They'll finish inside the top 5. It looks like Jeff Wright might finish third here. Second might go to Steve Morgan. But Danny Lloyd, he was on the strategy. He was leading. Luke Rain, the 2's inside. 19 cut across the 2's nose to try and come down pit road. It'll work out for Danny Lloyd in the end. Lloyd, with an amazing strategy, wins at Bristol as he caused the yellow. He was the yellow that ended up with him winning the race. If that yellow did not come out, he would not have won. So Danny Lloyd wins it after bringing out the caution. So we'll see what happened there. So here's Lloyd. You can see the 2 of Luke Rain, 2's inside. Lloyd's just taking over the race lead. He's going to come down pit road this time. He cuts across the 2's nose. Around goes the 19. He's going to come up and slam the outside wall. Mac Johnson gets some damage right there. 19 slams the wall and then comes down the track. The yellow is called for that. And he's going to come down pit road. Max Harrison does not. He's going to say, hey, I'm going to stay out and see if I can save enough fuel. He didn't. Lloyd came down. So he came down pit road, he got the fuel and everything in the car, and then when the 47 and the 10 had to pit, Lloyd was third and he ended up stealing a race victory. Here are the Sharpie 500. Let's go check the finishing results. Here are the finishing results from the Sharpie 500 at Bristol. There were 2 caution flags for 8 laps, and 9 lead change among 7 different drivers. As my oh my, the strategy at the end, Danny Lloyd wins on his strategy leading 2 laps over Steve Morgan, who ends up second leading 9 laps. Jeff Wright in third. He was up front barely, and he somehow ends up third. Max Harrison second in points, only 6 points back, ends up fourth, and he will gain the points lead by a big amount as Hanley had a horrible race. And Stablio rounds out the top 5, the last car in the lead lap. They have James Stablio in 6th, Griffin Lynn 7th, Benny Watson up to 8th, Colton Yo 9th, and Steve Locker rounds out the top 10. There's your top 20. Think about the heartbreak. If the race had just stayed green and gone through, Alexander would have won the race. He led 42 laps, but ends up 15th after the pit strategy was all messed up, and he absolutely had the not right one. Derek Campbell started on pole, led the first 18 laps, but fell back at the end. He ends up 27th. Some of the cars that came down pit road earlier, whatnot, and pit strategy is all messed up here. Let's now go look at the points. Here are the points standings as we head from the wacky race at Bristol, where 4 races from the chase. Max Anderson takes the points lead back. It's by 80 points over TJ Henley, who was second. Danny Lloyd with his second win of the season moves up to third in points. Lee Jack Taylor down to fourth, but remember he has that all-star win to back him up. Alexander rounds out the top 5. You have Trey Rainey in 6th, Steven Taylor 7th, Diego Lopez 8th, Griffin Lynn 9th, and Taylor Ryan Price has the final spot to the top 10. He is 10th. There's your top 20. Dale Lang's only 3 points out of the top 10. And how about this for Eli Bright, up to 12th in points. He's only 5 points outside of the top 10 points. But more importantly, that win is a wild card for him. Eli Bright is one of the wild card spots. Nathan Stapleton, the other one, in 15th. Some other drivers that have a shot. Carter Freeze and Steve Morgan, Patrick Smith, 17th through 19th. You have some others inside the top 20 that also have no wins but have a shot. John Gammett, Riley Sampson, they're 13th and 14th. There's Luke Rainey in 16th. Jay Jefferson, 20th. 21st and 40th, Jack Marshall's fallen outside the top 20. He has to get up there because he would take a wildcard spot no matter what. He's only 2 points behind the top 20. Isaac Nichols has a win in 24th. He could get up there. Sebastian Coulon with his 2 wins. He needs to be perfect these next few races to get up inside the top 20 and use those 2 wins as a wildcard. If he and Marshall break the way inside the top 20, they will steal wildcard spots unless the 83 falls outside the top 10 points. And if that happens, one of those two, they're going to be pretty mad about it. There's your finish, or there's the rest of the points. As you look ahead, it'll be another crazy race, another race where maybe strategy could play a big difference. The Canadian Tire 300 at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. I'll see you guys then.